Welcome back. I'm Big Al's with United Catalyst Corporation, and today I would like to show you a process of removing a converter which I personally consider the wrong way. And what I mean by that, if you could scan this floor quote before me, this represents roughly about 56 different converters from Mercedes, Hondas, Fords, Hyundais. It's a good variety here. There's some General Motors in here. And why do I consider this the wrong way to remove a converter? These converters, for the most part, are yanked or ripped off a vehicle using a tong or a machinery that will actually grab it and pull it out of the car. And when they do such a thing, they lose a lot of their product internally. It turns to nothing. You can see on this one, and I will dump out whatever's remaining in this. I will clean it up and put it back in the customer's box. Now, this converter is empty. Okay? That very little, this converter obviously was full when it was on the car. But because of the way it was removed from the car with a pinch style and ripped off the exhaust system, they lost product. Now, this product is sitting in their yard. If they're an auto recycler, if they're a scrap yard that's got a scale and they're just used to using their machinery, they're off their scale system. This is what they're losing in precious metals. It's not just that car, it's everything. This is a Ford. Hear that? That's what's left in this. There's very little biscuit left in there. There's two of them on this car, and then they have one main converter. It happens to everyone that pulls off a converter. Let me get my trusted light here, and I will show you. This is the inside of this catalytic converter. Okay, there's nothing there, but this is only half of the converter. Where is the other half? It wasn't in the box. It must be on the ground at the yard that this particular yard sent in to us. This is an ongoing problem with a lot of different recyclers. Now, this is not the core buyer who is removing them like this. This is actually a yard or a scrap metal place that buys cars, or cars come over the scale. This is one method they've used to take these off. Personally, it is not the good method. We got a Honda over there, a Mercedes. We've got some good converters here. And there's definitely some lost value. And the reason why I'm giving you these insights is because the price of palladium and rhodium today. This is one that was ripped off the manifold. I don't know if you can see that, but this is what it looks like when they pull them. They break them up in pieces. Okay, in transit, inside a box to get here. It's in a trailer truck, and this thing's in a box. It may be rocking around a little bit. You can see what falls out. I will clean up this floor and put this in the customer's box. And the reason why I'm showing you all of this, we use what we call a matrix system here, where we weigh everything in, we count your converters. That's how it came about this. I was watching the guys count the box. And I said, hey, look at all these converters that are halves or empties. And the only reason why they're halves or empties, they started out as a whole converter, but because of the method used to remove them from the cars, they became halves and empties. Because once they got broken up into little pieces, you can't catch them or seal them, so they just throw them on the ground, throw them in their pile. And every time you toss these things around, you can see what's on my floor. You lose product, okay? I will clean this product up and give it back to the customer. But this was a prime example of what not to do in a yard. Most of the yards do not do them this way. They revert back to, if they don't own a pinch style cutter, a small investment, and I'm not promoting DeWalt, that's what this one happens to be. I'm not promoting any of these companies with this, but a small investment just like this. Buy some extra batteries, buy some good cutting blades. If you don't know where to get a good cutting blade, call the fire department. See what they use on theirs. They use the top of the line blades. They get some good cuts out of theirs. So that would be a good insight to use. And start removing those. As you remove them, they come out clean and in hold. And that's what you want. Now, getting back to this, you'll see we have a sign posted up here. And basically, this is true to our business. We do everything here on an assay basis. So when you bring in a product to us, we weigh it as it comes in. We know what your weight was. We know what your count is because you told us. We confirm your count in our box, and that's what I happen to be, watching these guys confirm their count. And as I was watching them, that's what brought me to this attention that this customer is losing a lot of money just because of the way they're removing them from the car. How much money did he lose? There's 56, I think, or 57 converters. Even if I was to take it on the low side and take $100 off of every converter here, do the math, that's quite a bit of money. But I'm gathering it's even more than that. When I look at some of the converters, some of them are good yielding converters, and he's lost too much of his product. So he has to reevaluate, what does it take? Do I invest in the time to take these off correctly? I think while the rhodium and palladium is at the dollars they are today, it's definitely worth the investment to actually spend the extra time in cutting these off the car. If you have a yard that's such a busy yard and you don't have the time and you're willing to waste this or throw this money away, it's too bad. But if you're that busy, thank God that you are. I'd like to talk to more about on this subject here because we don't see a whole lot of this style anymore. But this was an absorbent amount to be just in one box, which I think the count on the box was 141 converters. To have this much, half the box of empties or halves is a loss. It's a loss for the guy who has to invest and buy these cars. It's not a loss for the guy who yanks them off because his job is just to pull them off. He's just following orders. So basically, because we do an assay-based product here and we mass balance everything. So when you send us a box, we weigh it, confirm your weight that you shipped us. When you give us the count of the box, we also count the box. And then we decan all of this material and it goes into our mill. We mill it, we get an assay from our mill, and we weigh up your scrap, and everything should come back together in a matrix that it all balances itself out. Sure, we're going to have very minute losses for the dust or some scrap or something like that, but very small. And it's probably one of your, it is the only way, not your best way, it is the only way to recycle a catalytic converter. There is no other way. And we kind of like take the lead on this position on how we take care of our customers. And I will bring this to our particular customer's attention who owns all of these, so maybe he can address that 1 or 2 yards that are doing this to him or whatever it may be. But I do thank you for this time that you spent with us, and we look forward to seeing you again. Thank you again for watching. Bye.